pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to call the Lamar City Council regular meeting for Tuesday, February 7th, 2023 to order. Start with a roll call.
Goodchild?
Yes.
Diamond?
Here.
Wick?
Yes.
Sturgeon?
Yes.
Bruns?
Yes. Motion to approve the agenda.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Start with a hearing. So, at the January 17, 2023 meeting, council set this date and time to hear public comments on plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimate of cost for the 2023 storm sewer improvement project. The project is between 12th Street Southwest and Prospect Street Southwest and involves the piping of the current open drainage ditch. Council asked if complete piping of the west end could be done and what that would cost. Engineer estimates and estimates an additional $270,000 to complete the west end. That aspect of the project will be added to the bid documents as an alternate. A full set of plans and specifications are available at City Hall. The proposed schedule is March 1, 2023, bids due at 10 a.m. March 7, 2023, council award. July 15, 2023, completion. And I'd like to open the hearing and ask for any written or oral objections or comments to the project. Seeing none, I'll turn to the council and note that administration recommends the council approve this project. The estimate of the project is $335,000 to $605,000. American Rescue Plan Act funds could be used for the project.
Jason, if we would add that as an alternate in the bid, we don't have to take the alternate, right?
You don't have to accept.
Okay, didn't know, all right. Motion to adopt resolution number 23-8 on plan specification, form of contract, and estimate of cost for the 23 storm sewer improvement project.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Diamond?
Yes.
Wick?
Yes.
Bruns?
Yes.
Sturgeon?
Yes.
Goodchild?
Yes.
Motion carried. Moving on to the second hearing. At the January 17, 2023 meeting, council set this date and time to hear public comments and offers received for the old Public Works property located at 331 First Street Northeast. 6 offers were received ranging from $100,000 to $305,000. The city will need to follow the procedure outlined in the consent decree and environmental covenant in the transfer of ownership. Finalized transfer could happen in April. I'd like to open the hearing and ask for any written or oral objections or comments to the sale. Anybody here to comment on that? Seeing none, I'll close the hearing and turn to the council. Administration recommends the council sell the property to Red Shed Enterprises LLC for $305,000, which was the high bid.
Motion to adopt resolution 23-9, authorizing the sale of the property located at 331 First Street Northeast to Red Shed Enterprises LLC in the amount of $305,000. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Bruns?
Yes.
Diamond?
Yes.
Goodchild?
Yes.
Wick?
Yes.
Sturgeon?
Yes.
Motion carried. All right, moving to general discussion. We have a 10-minute time slot for citizens. Any citizens here to comment? We've got a very big council meeting, so you can see that I'm moving fast. All right, moving on. Thumbs up award. Anybody have any thumbs up award? I would add that thumbs up to the Arts Council and their nice event last Friday evening. It was well attended, and I think they raised some decent money. So, anybody else?
Thumbs up to all the department heads for being so understanding when they get their budgets get cut today.
Okay.
Preemptive thumbs up.
Moving on to consent items. In the consent items, we have an approval of the January 17, 2023 regular meeting minutes and January 25, 2023 special meeting minutes. A list of bills for period ending 1/31/23. A renewal of the liquor license for Dusty Lady Brew, Walmart, Quick Star, and a temporary premise transfer to the KC's for the Pheasants Forever annual banquet at the fairgrounds. Urban revitalization tax exemption request, and the Convention and Visitor Bureau Advisory Board recommendations for hotel motel tax board.
Motion to approve consent items 1 through 5.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. I believe we don't need a roll call there, so, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to action items. So we have a hotel motel sales tax request. As the police department missed the deadline for the sales or hotel motel tax advisory boards. So the Lamar's Police Department is hosting the Midwest Canine Trails on August 27 to 29, 2023. Around 60 to 80 canine teams from around the Midwest will compete in the trails. Attached is a letter from the police chief regarding the event. City administration is recommending the council approve the request for hotel motel funds. The Lamar's Police Department is requesting $4,000 in hotel motel sales tax, and it will be allocated to help put on the event. Donations will cover the remainder of the expenses to host the event. The expenses will be paid out of the Canine Fund. And I would also add that the Hotel Motel Sales Tax Advisory Board does recommend approving this as well.
I do apologize for missing the deadline. That was on me. I thought we had an additional month.
And another note, it should be trials, not trails.
Oh, trials.
Trials.
Okay,
Wait.
trials.
Can you make it trails?
Yeah, trails sounds fun.
Can I have dogs run around the trails?
Absolutely.
The Hotel Motel Sales Tax Board did review the request, and it actually, I mean, is one of the few events that puts beds in, or heads in beds and fills the hotels.
And the local hotels will definitely be filled along with the surrounding communities. Sioux City, Sioux County hotels are also receiving reservations, right?
We get some of their money too?
I don't know.
Like it works out.
Jacob, we got 122 in that fund, is that correct? And then we spent 85 of it, is that correct?
That sounds correct.
Okay, yeah, no, yeah, it's not a quiz, that's fine, so, okay.
I'd make a motion to approve the Lamar's Police Department's request to allocate $4,000 of hotel motel funds for costs associated with hosting the Midwest Canine Trials.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, Mayor. Council.
Motion carried, thank you. Next up, the 2023 Plymouth Street Watermain Replacement Project. So, council set this date to consider bids received from the 2023 Plymouth Street Watermain Replacement Project. Bids were received and opened February 1st, 2023 at 10 a.m. Bids received are as follows. Subsurfco LLC, $259,515.95. Vanderwint and Sons, $261,002. Holstein Excavating Inc., $315,955.65. Vanderbilt Excavating LLC, $363,289.90. Administration is recommending the council accept the bids and award the project to Subsurfco LLC using American Rescue Plan Act funds. The project estimate was $267,740.
Couple questions, Jason. First one is, who is Subsurfco?
Landing,
Where are they from? Who are?
Sioux City.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Landon Mike with Beck Engineering. Subsurf code to answer that question. They're out, a contractor out of Sioux City. And they've done work on us for a few projects and have done fine jobs. So,
You're good with it?
yep, we believe they're a qualified bidder and recommend the award to them.
Okay. And, thank you. And the second question is, why aren't we using water funds?
Well, we could, but this type of project would fall into the
Can't
warrant for projects for American Rescue Funds.
Okay.
That's what.
Okay. Can we change that? Well, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can change if you
I
want.
just hate to use all that money up yet, because we spent a chunk of it. The storm sewer is also recommended out of there too, and how much did we get, $1.5 million?
Yeah, we got money.
How much have we spent?
We've allocated 170.
170 is all?
Yep.
Okay, I mean, okay.
That's up to you, that's up to you guys, which.
Well, I'm not, no, it's actually more a Jacob question. Do we wanna, I mean, where it comes from, I guess. I was just wondering why it didn't come out of water. That's, so,
Yeah, I think it's time to use it for this.
Okay.
The original intent of the funds was for water and wastewater projects, so I think it'd be time to use.
it's
some
appropriate,
for that.
okay, sounds good. Motion adopting resolution number, whatever we're on, 2310?
Yep.
310. Awarding the contract for 2020 Plymouth Street Watermain Replacement Project Subsurfco LLC in the amount of $259,515.95 and using American Rescue Funds to cover those costs.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. No roll call, so all in favor?
Yeah.
Oh, it has to be roll call, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the change you sent me. Okay, roll call.
Donlin?
Oh.
Yes.
Sturgeon?
Yes.
Bruns?
Yes.
Wick?
Yes.
Goodchild?
Yes.
Motion carried. Moving on to the cul-de-sac ordinance. So, a residential subdivision concept has been brought to staff, which includes a cul-de-sac approximately 700 feet in length. The current city code allows for a maximum of 500 feet. Research was done comparing our standards to other communities' statewide urban design and specification, SUDAs, and the International Fire Code 2015 edition. Researched communities varied anywhere from 400 feet to 1,000 feet in length. The International Fire Code allows 750 feet maximum length. They were also differing turnaround radius minimums across all formats. The Planning and Zoning Commission met on January 31st, 2023, and is recommending changes to be made to section 165.15 of the Lamar's Code of Ordinances to match the current International Fire Code length of 750 feet maximum. Administration recommends the council proceed to a public hearing to amend our code to increase the length.
Oh, yeah, so this was discussed. I mentioned in here that there was differing turnaround radiuses. Initial discussion in planning and zoning was to word our code in a way to that it always followed fire code. But we noticed the difference in the radiuses of the turnarounds at the end. And the fire code was actually less than what we already have. So we went with the larger number. That's why we're only changing the length.
What is our turning radius, do you know?
96.
96?
I think,
That suits you, okay?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, we didn't want to shrink that down any, but we wanted the length to be able to expand for these residential neighborhoods that they're doing in other communities as well. And our city code actually hindered that, so we just said if we match the fire code every time on the length, we should be good and match other communities as well.
But they can still put smaller ones in if they want.
Absolutely.
Right, I thought that's the way I read it.
Yeah, so right now, yes, the fire code says 96, our code actually says 100 foot.
Yeah, we're gonna stay with our code size, the bigger one.
Motion to establish February 21st, 2023 at 12 p.m. for a public hearing to amend the Lamar's Code of Ordinances, Chapter 165, subdivision regulations.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to the Bolton and Menk Inc. Services Agreement, Industrial Wastewater Pretreatment Evaluation. So, attached is amendment number 1 to an agreement with Bolton and Menk Inc. to provide wastewater pretreatment evaluation services. The original agreement was executed January 18, 2022, and not to exceed an amount of $70,000. Additional pretreatment concepts are being considered as outlined in the amendment, which is causing the extension of services. The amendment adds an additional $60,000 to the agreement. Administration recommends the council approval of amendment number 1. Adds an additional of $60,000 to the agreement for a total not to exceed $130,000.
Any questions? Explanation for it from Bolton and Mink was, they anticipated being done by now. The evaluation has taken more effort than anticipated. They have not invoiced us since August because they expected they would be into the preliminary design by now, but they're not, so.
Are these eventually shared costs, Jason?
Some are.
Some are, some
I
are.
can't remember which ones are off the top.
Okay, I thought some of them were, but I didn't think we'd have a definitive number on.
The
on it.
pre-treatment evaluation and design is for sure. I don't know what this one is.
Okay, that's fine, that's fine. Motion to approve amendment number 1 to an agreement with Professional Services Industrial Wastewater Pretreatment Evaluation with Bolton Menk Inc. with the total agreement fees not to exceed $130,000.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to the Lamar's Business Initiative Corporation request, Erdmann property. Through the years, the city of Lamar's and Lamar's Business Initiative Corporation, LBIC, have worked together to spur development. With the recent restructuring of the development responsibilities, the way funding assistance occurs will look different. Instead of an annual budget funding, the LBIC will request funding as individual projects come forward. Community Development Director Mark Gall will be at the meeting to explain the new process. The LBIC is undertaking the purchase of approximately 4.21 acres on the north end of Lamar's owned by Erdmann Enterprises LLC. The LBIC will secure financing through local Lamar's banks for the purchase, but are also asking the city for assistance. City assistance would be in the form of interest payments. The interest rate on the loan will begin at 6.45% and will be adjusted annually. The estimated annual interest is $43,557.50. The city will pay the interest semi-annually. This agreement will be tracked through a memorandum of understanding, which will be reviewed and approved annually by the council. Administration is recommending council approval to enter an agreement with LBIC. The interest payments could be paid from economic development funds or tax incremental financing.
So just a couple of things to reinforce what Rob has just said. So over the years, for example, in our industrial park, every time LBIC sells a lot in the industrial park, there's an obligation to the city. Right now, I couldn't tell you what that amount is. But if we put that in the form of a MOU or memorandum of understanding that you guys review every year, then those documents are in front of you. A second one would be Plymouth Energy. LBIC writes a check to the city on a monthly basis to help pay off a loan for Plymouth Energy. That would get included in the MOU. A third one is Prime Living, assisted living. There's some interest payments that are a pass-through through LBIC and to the city. And so as we've had these agreements over the years, they're filed away, but if we would put them in the form of an MOU and each June have LBIC finance or treasurer review those, have the city finance director review that and bring that to council on an annual basis, then every year, everybody knows what's out there is accountability for LBIC, what we owe to the city, and to make sure that they stay top of mind. And so the second piece of this is right now, the city's writing a check to LBIC on a quarterly basis for $19,375. And the reason for that is to give LBIC some funds to go out and do development with. And so right now, if LBIC would go out and do a project, such as the one that was just described, you wouldn't necessarily know about it, but there are taxpayer dollars being utilized for that. And so the two projects that are going to be brought before you today, we're suggesting, so city council is part of the decision-making process on supporting LBIC projects. And so if we continue to write those checks to LBIC for $19,375, that amounts to $77,500 on an annual basis. Tax increment financing should be used to help assist with those, because those are the new taxes generated by the project. You always get your base in TIF. And so if you would take, we've got one in front of you now with the Erdmann property, and there's a second one that we're going to talk about that's Randy DeYoung property. But if you add those two together, the interest cost for both those projects combined would be $75,465. So that's less than what you're writing checks for now. And not only that, the intent for LBIC isn't to be the developer of the project or the land, is to get the land prepared for proper development, set goals for that area, and then go out and recruit those developers to that area that we would like to see done. And so that gives us a little say into what happens with each of these areas. We do need land, and we've talked about it on more than one occasion for some multifamily development.